Hello and welcome back to Ark Raiders. We're on the PS5. This time we're on direct from the PS5. I have also played the game on the Portal, which has been working really well. There's no stutters, there's no drops, anything like that. So that's a good little option to have. So to update, we have done a couple of quests off camera just to try and make a little bit of progress, and our workshop is now fully open. So we've gathered all the materials to be able to open that up. Scrappy hasn't been upgraded just yet. We need some more lemons and apricots to get him on another level. And Scrappy goes out, forages stuff in the world and brings it back to us. So that's usually crafting materials. So a quick run around the different workbenches and whatnot in our home. So we got our standard workbench, which we have from the outset, where we can craft the lower tier items. So the weapons, we got a looting kit, which increases the slots where we can put items. We have a shield, which is just a basic shield. And then we have essentially a shotgun, a handgun, a kind of mid-level gun, and actually the hairpin as well. So they've all got the kind of drawbacks. As you can imagine, they're not the best, and certainly early in game you will struggle to take on Ark with these weapons without clever use of cover. On to the next one, and that is our gunsmith bench. This one here, there's a further range of weapons that we can craft. So the rattler is quite a common one. That's kind of the mid-range one. It doesn't do an awful lot of damage, but it's got decent range and fire rate, although the reload speed is terrible and it will cost you mid-fight. Then we've got some extra kind of add-ons, so extended magazines, mufflers, and some stocks that we can add on to those basic weapons. We can also then upgrade them. So as always, over on the right hand side it tells us what the required resources are to be able to upgrade these different guns. So let's see what that does. So it's going to 25% bullet velocity increase, durability, it'll last a little bit longer. I've not really experienced any guns breaking down in raid, and honestly, probably because I die probably once in every 2 or 3 raids, I've not really had an issue where I've taken the same weapon in and it's degraded to a point that it's unusable. And then there's a level up for the bench itself. Gear bench, again, more craftable items, so we can make a combat packs there. So this is kind of a mixture of what kind of slots you have. So you might have more quick use slots, you might have more storage, or you might have an extra kind of perk added to it. The medium shield, I have been able to craft a couple of them, but I've not been using them. So I've not really yet gone into a raid where I've taken what I would consider better grades of equipment, because I just wanted early game to get familiar with the maps, go through some of the quests, and just kind of level up the character a little bit. Medical lab, as you'd expect, this makes different medical items. We've got a herbal bandage, which gives us more healing. The basic bandage you can craft quite easily from fabric. Sterilized bandage, so that needs antiseptic, which I don't think I've yet found. So I guess what we then need to do, which leads us on to the refiner, is we can then take existing components and refine them into different ones. So there's quite a lot of depth actually to the crafting system, and I've only really scratched the surface of that. Sorry, I missed one there, didn't I? And then we had the utility station. So binoculars for tagging things, smoke grenade, door blocker will keep a door open. Not really sure why I'd want to be honest. Zip line, that would be quite useful actually to get around quickly. Raider hatch key. So we need to upgrade the station to level 2. That would be really useful. So in the maps there are extract points. When you activate them, they make a lot of noise. They attract the Ark, and they also take a little while for the elevator to get to the surface, and it can be quite tricky if you're pinned down. So with a Raider hatch key, there's extra extracts around the map where you can get out quickly and without any fuss. So absolutely worth their weight in gold. And this I'm particularly excited about. I need the station to be level 3, and that will actually hide us from the Ark, so that would be very, very useful. And that's roughly where we're up to at the moment. We don't currently have enough resources to level up any of these tables. I think the utility one looks like the one to go for. Character-wise, I've been putting my points mostly into mobility, so the stamina increases. We'll just go over there. We'll go over and up. So marathon runner means we can move around with less cost to our stamina, and youthful lungs increases the maximum stamina. What I've found is, particularly when I'm doing solo raids, because I have done a couple of duos, is that if I get engaged with an Ark, then with my weapons and reload speed, it's almost certainly game over, so I try and get out of there quite quickly. Dex is the skins, for want of a better phrase, and so you can see that I have unlocked an extra cosmetic there, the Voyager outfit. So you can also, once you get to 50, you can actually get some free in-game currency as well. I did have a look at what things cost in terms of the cosmetics. So if we go back here to customization, to get these different outfits, it's quite a lot of Raider coins. So 1,300. I think you'd probably have to clear every single page of these decks, because there's 50 per page. So even then, I'm not sure you'd have enough. Even when you get to page 6, that's 250. So I think for any of those skins, it's going to be real world money. It doesn't actually add any advantage that I'm aware of. It's purely cosmetic. So with that being said, let's jump into a raid. We should, can't remember whether I survived the last one or not. What I'm going to do is, so the latest ones that we've opened are Bluegate and Stella Montis. Stella Montis, I spawned in to some kind of facility, and I'm not sure what the robots are called, but the round ones that set you on fire, about 4 of them immediately jumped on me and knocked me out. So what I'm going to do this time is we're going to go back. We're going to go with a free loadout so that there's no risk attached, just to have a little wander around the map and see what's what. So overall impressions, having played for a little bit longer, it is very easily a game that you can invest a couple of hours into, or many hours I should say, but it is one of those one more games. And that, for me, is the sign of a good game, is that you go, just one more raid, just one more raid. So if you have a good one, you think just one more, I'll go in and get some more good stuff. If you die early, then just one more means that you can go in and redeem yourself. So from my perspective, as I've said, I've not really gone in kitted on any of the raids, so that's obviously going to make any combat that I experience more challenging. So we've got a flashlight here, but that will attract arc, as will noise as well. So in terms of those skill points, what I plan to do is to then invest those into a skill where you can actually move around quicker once you're crouching. So crouching means that there's no attraction to the arc. Obviously looting will, but that's what we're here for, so let's take the risk. I can see a raider up there. And generally, my experience of other players, which I'm probably going to regret saying this because someone will come along and kill me, it's been that largely, so we're just going to creep around a little bit, is that largely they'll just kind of use the don't shoot emote and let you get on your way. It's actually quite refreshing for an extraction shooter. This looks like some kind of robot facility, and the biggest challenge here, as I say, is that the environment's really enclosed. So if you do get one of the, let's see what this does. Okay, so that's a bridge that goes across. Probably shouldn't have done that because there's an arc over there and I'm giving it a free path towards me. Now, I thought I saw a light on the other side of this pillar, so I just need to be a little bit stealthy. There's one over there you can see. And my weaponry at the moment, although this is a free loadout, isn't it? So I've got a ferro, which is essentially a shotgun. One of my tasks is that I was, there's two of them. We'll let those go past. Is one of the tasks is that I was given a ferro 3, which apparently will take out whatever they're called with one shot. Oh dear. So we should have a bandage, hopefully. So this is a nice sneaky little corner actually to heal up a bit. So usually if you attract one, another one will come over and you can get overwhelmed pretty quickly, as I say, on these enclosed spaces. So that was quite fortunate actually. I took some damage. So we can now loot through this. It looks like that might have damaged. There was another 2 rolling around. So, look. There's another raider. There's 2 raiders.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Okay, so I'm going to try and get out of the way of this. Hopefully they don't like stairs. And there was another raider there that sounded like that blew up downstairs. Some gunshots there. So that doesn't sound too healthy. I'm just going to take this opportunity to put a marker on my map. Oh, so it's all enclosed. Interesting. So I want to find myself an extract point and set a marker, because this is an absolute labyrinth. I think let's do a bit of looting. Whoever's downstairs doesn't sound at all like they're having a particular good time. But as you can imagine, in this kind of facility, a lot of the loot is kind of electronics. We just need to be mindful of a couple of things. We need to be mindful of cameras. Is that going to be... Ah, so that's a zip line.
Hey, don't shoot! Don't shoot! Hey, Raider. Work together? Yes.
So, even though we've not teamed up, having a couple of raiders around increases our odds against the Ark. So for now, I am gonna. Looks like they're off to a different place. And with 3 or 4 people, they're going to be looting. There's not going to be much left. So I'm going to focus on moving towards the marker, which is where we know the exfil is. And we get our weapon ready. I didn't realise it started my heels on. So this looks like it's some kind of metro system. It's quite interesting. Is that snow? Looks like nuclear fallout, doesn't it? So I think then we should be heading down. There's something beeping that I don't like. Okay, so we are 59 meters away, so I guess again we got to go downwards. Just be a bit careful again of our surroundings. Lots and lots of lootables in here by the looks of it. So I've filled my slots up here. Always wary of a red light in this game. Oh, is that a down rate? Oh. So part of the...
Hey, Raider!
I'm sure one of the tasks was that we needed to look for androids or something. Find and search 3 androids. God, that... whatever that weapon was outside sounded... pretty powerful. It'd be good to find some androids and try and do this mission. So again, there's just a lot of variety. The maps are pretty big. Well populated. I do not like the sound of that weapon, whatever that is. There's another raider. There's a lot going on here. Right, we need to, I think we're going to have to go down a couple of levels here in order to get to our extract. And I don't much want to be moving towards the sound of that weapon, but it does look like we're going to need to... What is that? Oh, so it's going to be a turret, isn't it? This is going to be tricky. I think we need... Oh dear. Well, that wasn't exactly the route that I planned, I'll be honest. Let's get ourselves healed up. Thankfully, where we landed seems to have put us out of range of the turret. There's something over there. I think probably best to stay out of those lights, those sensors. I'm going to guess. Lots of gunfire. Okay, that looks like a pretty hefty piece of machinery. So we've got androids, but unfortunately, I don't know whether it's people have beat me to it to search the androids, but that's my kind of key task for this particular area. Right, I'm a bit lost in terms of where our extract is. I'm going to guess that it's downward. Okay, so we've got... Is this an android or is this a person? We'll just see what we can... Oh, what we can take. So Anna hazard a guess that we need to go down. Again, don't really want to draw too much attention to my presence. This looks like it could be the tube station that gets us out of here. So a slightly different extract this time. I'm just going to turn the torch off. Take what minimal cover we can get. Do the don't shoot.
Hey, don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Here comes the train. Beautiful. Okay, is there anybody else that's going to make it on? Beautiful. There we go. So we went on. There's our path. So we managed to get out alive, which is obviously key. That's the first aim of any raid. We managed to scavenge a couple of materials, and so we'll have a look in our inventory to see what that looks like. So the workshop will be flashing because Scrappy's been out and gathered some stuff for us. We'll go over to our inventory because that must be getting pretty full again. So let's have a look over what we've got. We've got a couple of combat kits crafted and ready to go. We have got some medium shields, which I've been saving, some light shields, weaponries. The ferro is essentially like the shotgun. We've got a couple of like the anvil. I actually purchased that. So that's a more powerful handgun, which I'm going to save when I've got a particularly challenging raid. But then into ammunition, so heavy ammo, light ammo, and medium. Medium's what we tend to burn through quickest. We've got a couple of augments in there for the various weapons. 3 sets of binoculars for some reason, although I don't use them. I tend to sell these sorts of things because I'm not ever really going to use them in raid, so I don't really use the grenades or anything like that. So we'll go ahead and do those as sales. Defibrillators are going to be very important if you're in a squad. So if someone gets knocked down, you can revitalize them. You got a couple of sterilized bandages, which restore our health quicker. So this is all the medical stuff. Door stops. Not sure when I would need to use them, but they're not actually worth a great deal of money. Door blocker. Don't know why one's worth less than the other. Let's sell the most expensive one. A flare. Again, don't really know that I would use that for any reason. So let's sell it. Same with that one. Magnetic accelerator. I'm going to keep hold of that, even though it's worth a few quid, because I've got a feeling we're going to need these, as you can see there, for the more advanced weaponry. An alarm clock, 1,000, I think we'll sell. Arc motion core, used to craft a magnetic accelerator. I think we're probably going to need this sort of stuff for our workbench upgrades, but we can have a look at that. That's worth 6,000. Light gun parts we'll keep hold of. 1,000. So as you can see, I have expanded my inventory quite a bit here. We're going to sell these because they are, again, worth a few quid, and it's just really about prioritizing what I need right now, but trying not to sell things that I think I'm going to need quite quickly. So let's head over to one of our workbenches to see what we actually need to be able to do. So I think the utility station was the one with the zip line, Raider hatch keys. So we need advanced electrical components. We've got 2 of those. Sensors. So that's gone into our logbook. It doesn't tell us where what we need to do to make the sensors actually. So that's something to look into. Can be thrown. Can be recycled into arc alloy? No, we'll sell that because that's worth 3,000. We'll sell that one for the same reason, although that's only worth 2,000 now. Arc alloy we'll want to keep hold of. Crafting materials. Okay, so I won't spend the whole video going through my inventory. What we'll do is we'll jump into another raid. We'll hop back over to... So we've had a look at Stellamontis. That's quite enclosed. It looks like there's some good lootables there. Let's take a look at Blue Gate. So we've still got the same loadout as last time. I'm going to put that into my storage because it looks like it could be worth some money. Tagging grenade. Again, we're not going to need that. So we have essentially a shotgun, a Beretta. I'm going to put that into the storage because I haven't got any ammo for it anyway. So we've just got a basic kind of backpack here, so we haven't got much in terms of what we can carry. So we'll put one of those in there, and then let's head off. So just wait to load back in. And off we go. So just to recap, Ark Raiders, lots of hype about it. Reviews that I read were almost all positive. This is more like a kind of...
Apollo here.
I thought that was the sound of a... like a robot nearby right out of the spawn then. So this is quite picturesque actually. So it's like a little village. So things to look out for are where there's smoke, that means it's downed Ark, which you can then go and loot for the parts. I'm just going to have a general kind of wander around. So this little fella is a raider hatch, which you'll need a key to open. And that's why we're trying to upgrade our workbench. Because the crafting costs didn't look massively high, and that's going to be a really useful bit of kit, I do think. So because we haven't got much in terms of storage space, I'm going to be a bit more selective about what I pick up this time. We can hear shots away in the distance there. And you're not always joining the raid from the outset, so sometimes you might spawn in and find that places have already been looted. But as we've seen on our playthroughs, other players in game are actually quite laid back. It's not too ruthless, at least at the moment. So let's head on out into a wider area. What we'll do is, while we got a bit of cover here, let's just have a look on our map for a nice place to explore. So red are going to be the higher loot areas, but also higher risk. We've got an extract that's not too far away. So I'm going to mark that on the map so that once we've had a look around this village, because the village is quite close together, as the buildings are, I should say, we'll have a little wander around here, see what we can find before we head off to the extract. Chemicals. Oh, what is that? Bloated tuna can. Yeah, I'm not sure we need that. So as you can hear, the more we move around, the more quickly, the more noise that we make, and that's going to attract Ark and other players. Did I search in there? It's their kind of bread and butter crafting materials. So we're just going to keep our eye out for any Arks. They've got quite a good field of vision, and their repositioning is intelligent too. I think it's safe to say that a lot of these houses have already been picked through. I can hear something that sounds like it's close by. Yep. Don't want anything to do with that just at the moment, thank you. Some of the vehicles will have also sensors on them. So as you get nearby, it sets off the alarm, and that will cause you issues. So again, the layout of the maps kind of allows for different play styles. Now that on the roof over there. Don't like the sound of that, that sounds too close. I do want to get up on that roof. Where is that? It's over there. So we can get up on the roof. Those canisters have usually got pretty decent stuff in them. A little look in the skip. I'll take the durable cloth because that can be used for medical kits. We need to find a way up onto this roof. So going up inside is going to give us a little bit of extra cover. And hopefully there's a way out onto the roof. Oh. Yeah, so the shot each of the weapons obviously has different pros and cons. Shotgun, as you can expect, is more powerful, but will take longer to reload. Sorry, I'm not doing a very good job of balancing my talking. My commentary and concentration, because sound really is key on this. So I'm trying to find a way to get up onto this roof. It doesn't look like, and I can hear something in the distance. So this is where a zip line, I'm sure, would come in handy. I'm not sure that that's a jump that we can make.
Hey, don't shoot! Don't shoot! Hello there!
Yeah, we want to be able to get up there. I'm not sure how we're going to. Don't want to spend too much time trying to do it. We could potentially get up on here. I'm not sure we can mantle this much. So let's not spend the whole time doing this. So we have got about 12 minutes left of this raid. I've not stayed in a raid long enough for it to arc over there. I've not stayed in the raid long enough for it to end, but I do believe it's kind of like a big atomic type explosion that wipes out the whole map. I think they're trying to do the same thing. So if you're dropping down, you can, if you time it right, you can press your circle button and do a roll. Well, that's too big for me, thank you. Don't want any part of that. Oh. So as you can see, they do position really well. We're getting there slowly. It's taking a few. You know what? That's probably the best I've done. As you can see, or as you could hear, I was did require a little bit of concentration. Quite pleased with that, you know.
Orbiter is en route. The safe window is closing. 10 minutes to get out of there. I repeat, 10 minutes.
Okay, so that's our timer. So, really, certainly early game, as we just saw, it's really about your positioning, because the reload time, so the shotgun's going to do a fairly decent amount of damage, but it's going to have a poor reload time, and so we needed to use that cover wisely. Alright, we need to get up there fairly sharpish. Sounds like someone's activated it. Let's get in before it closes. So thankfully somebody already opened this. That was good timing. So that was not a bad raid. That's probably the biggest arc that I've taken down to date, which should move me along my little progress bar a little bit. So the right tool, I think, because we took down another arc. Hopefully has moved us towards that particular task being completed. As always, the workshop is beckoning because Scrappy's been out in the world. And if we have a look at our traders, or in fact our logbook, that's going to remind us. So the right tool, we've destroyed a hornet, we've destroyed a fireball, we need to destroy a turret. So Stella Montis would seem like the place to do that. It looked like they had quite a few turrets. So again, positioning is going to be key there, because as you heard from the fire rate, if you get in the way of that, it's going to be game over. We then have our first foothold, which is all around Blue Gate. Trifecta, destroy a wasp, get a wasp driver, destroy a hornet, get a hornet driver, destroy a snitch. So snitch, I think, are those circle robots. And then in my image, so Stella Montis, we did deploy to Stella Montis, but as we saw, the androids looked like they'd already been searched. And then finally, safe passage. Destroy 2 arc enemies using any explosive grenade. Sounds like it could be quite tricky. So we will end the video there. As always, if you've enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. I'd be really interested to see comments about Ark Raiders. It is the most hyped game of the moment, and I think for good reason. If you got any hints, tips or tricks that you could pass on to me, they will be greatly received. Or if there's anything about the game, you've just joined it and there's anything that I could hopefully pass on, then please do also pop that in the comments as well. And finally, that subscribe button, it is free. It only takes a second, and that will mean that I can get my videos out to a wider audience. I will see you in the next raid.